because life in Mexico or even in Arabia she has never been to and only seen on TV. It is just hideous. She cannot imagine living somewhere else. No, this is her place. This is the center of her world, and nothing else matters. Tanya again has gained confidence. She now is craving for Chad's attention. How will he is? Look at her. He says hardly something to her. He has never told her that she's attractive or that he is attracted to her. However, she knows that Chad surreptitiously in his mind probably undresses her, probably wants to be with her, wants to have sex with her. She can tell all the pretense that how he acts around her, as if everything would be normal, as if Tanya Ocasio would be a normal girl. But she is more than convinced that Chet has a craving for Chet Kruger. Many in the custom office told her he is a mystery, but she has looked through this mystery. She has seen him like she has seen so many undocumented migrants on the streets who only pretend to be Americans, where you can sniff out the fear of them, the fear behind the mask, the devastating, perspiring fear no one seems to be able to hide. For Rafael is on the way to the Mexican-American border. He promised himself that this is the last time he will ever come to Mexico. No, he had it off. He doesn't want to return anymore. Mexico has nothing that holds him anymore. Nothing he can live there anymore. There are dark memories. And he looks in the rear mirror of his car, sees the streets, these old, dilapidated homes in the distance, sees them disappear, sees himself moving into a new future somewhere, heading somewhere. And he's thoughtful about the life he lives behind, about the hideous life and how it all changed. It's unbelievable. In Mexico, he does not only leave bad memories behind, no, he as well as leaves a good memories, a very fortunate childhood. And wasn't it great? In the great hacienda he lived, he had everything, every toy, and he remembers his childhood was only blissful. It was great to be a child in Mexico, living in this big hacienda, enjoying life. There was not one day in his childhood he did not enjoy. And his father and his parents, they loved him so much. They bestowed their love on him, especially his father, this man who always had time for him. Whenever Rafael would come into his office, his father would immediately lay down his work. He would always be there with some man. They would talk about business and all stuff Rafael back then did not understand. But his father, and he liked to be around his father and pretended to be him, his father. He had always time for him. He would always see him with pleasure. His eyes were gleaming. How is my son? How is my little lion, he would always ask Rafael, and Rafael would exclaim proudly, I'm fine, fine, Dad. What a joyous future he had ahead, and it was great being around them. He thinks of his father and his family still mournfully. They are gone. They will not return anymore. Like he will not return to Mexico anymore. He will leave it behind, leave it in the past, even if this is possible. Rafael knows forgetting or being able to forget, this is the hardest part. For some, it might be easier. Some struggle against forgetting. Rafael heard sometimes people who have lost loved ones, that they are grappling with forgetting, that they fight against forgetting, that they told him they forget their faces, and that they have to struggle to remember all these loved ones, how they were. Time is cruel. The human brain doesn't seem to be able to hold on thoughts, hold on people, as if only a small light would be shed in someone's brain, and this small light you can only take with you. You cannot see in the past and you cannot see in the future. Life is only in now, moments of now. And this now, that it would drain all the past, all the footprints which led to this very moment where you are aware of yourself. But for Rafael, forgetting would be a blessing. A blessing, even the good memories, even the joys youth he had, just leave them behind. Leave them behind like he drives away. Being able to just leave the memories in Mexico so that he could start over, so that the past doesn't drag him down, so that he does not have to put the loving father he loved, so his loving parents, the image of them, next to the unrelenting man, Fulgencio Santa Cruz, who was well known in the village and who was feared, who was called murderer, who was called villain, who was called cold-blooded. He wants to forget all this. He wants to forget the hate, this distorted faces of all these people who knew Fulgencio Santa Cruz, who had only but bad memories of him, who, according to Rafael, never saw his true face, never saw this loving and caring father, who was his world, and who could be different. Rafael later on always claimed that maybe the society his father lived in had to make him tough, had to make him cold-blooded. This was when he read all this stuff his father did, apparently with people, how many he killed, how many he buried alive, killed them and buried them in the desert. This is what life does to one. But Rafael, he was never cold-blooded like his father. At least he tells himself that. He could never imagine just taking a life of someone. But however, he could excuse his father He had a tough youth, probably, and he had to go through some things. And survival was necessary. In the world he lived, at least later on, when he read about the world, because the world he lived, the world he grew up in, was this big hacienda where everyone was nice to him, where he was the center of all attention. Now this was a different world from the world outside. He later on discovered a second world where people had to be someone different, where people had to struggle for survival. No, this is excusable, this is understandable. Rafael told himself over and over again. He tried to make sense of the hatred people felt towards his father. And then this fatal night when they stormed the hacienda, when he got up from sleep screaming. The nanny was screaming, but there was a second person screaming. It was his mother. At least he thinks it was his mother, because he never heard someone screaming in their home. It was devastating. It was as if it had penetrated Rafael's soul. He could not move. He was bolted on the ground. What was the scream of? It was filled with so much pain that brought tears in his eyes and made him unable to move, unable to do anything. He was lost. He saw the nanny. He saw Consuela, this woman who had so much love for him, who helped him to grow up. He saw her running past him. He saw her that she did not care for him at all. This woman who had told him before over and over again that she loves him like her own child. Now she just ran past him. Now she didn't even care for him, and she begged with these men to spare her life. She told these men that she has children at home, and that she was on her knees, and she begged for her life. But all was in vain. Rafael saw her being shot down, and it looked so easy. Just one falls down, like a game she was always played with him, when she said, "Now, if you leave me, if you are not around me, I will die." And then she would always lie down, close her eyes, and would for seconds pretend that she's dead. And Rafael would then say, no, I will not leave you. I will stay with you forever. You are my mommy. Rafael called the nanny occasionally mommy, even though he knew that he has another mommy, a mommy who drinks a lot, who is not around, a mommy who always is in her room, who hardly goes out of her room. And then after a while, the nanny Consuela would open her eyes. She would smile, and Rafael's world would be again back to normal. He could not imagine any other world. "You are my hero," she told him. But then she was shot dead. Consuela, she just lied there, lay there in her